But let's begin with Obi. It's 2 years. I'm not particularly sure how long, if you've been in the saddle for that long too.
Not quite.
But what's been your job? You know, what has it been like these 2 years? What's the mandate, by the way?
Okay. Well, first of all, I mean, thanks for having me this morning. The mandate in terms of the council is we're sort of the convening agency for the ministry. So all the sectors that are there, we're involved in. We have mandate over everything, including setting up event centers, production lots, museums, galleries, that sort of thing. But the primary mandate is protect, project, promote, and preserve the cultural heritage of Nigeria and make sure it's embedded into everything Nigeria does, at the government level, at the private level, at the community level. So that's really the mandate. But then, of course, one of the things we found as soon as we arrived is that these institutions, I mean, the NCAC is 50 years old this year, so it's not a young institution. And we have to reform them in terms of legal reform, which is probably the first thing that has to happen in terms of the future of NCAC. But what we've met there is, I mean, we have a manpower strength of about 1,000 people. We've got 10 regional offices. So around Nigeria, there's a lot of knowledge within the ecosystem. And part of this challenge is how to unlock it and bring it out so they can actually affect the space. But I think perhaps the most important thing that has happened is has some very strong leadership from the ministry level. So you have a situation where there's an 8-point plan that is quite focused. Okay. And there's been a number of FEC approvals for things that are happening and coming from the sector right now. The Creative Economy Development Fund, which is still open till June 30th. And we've seen a lot of responses coming in from there, from what I hear. There's the CITCO, which is the infrastructure. We're talking about infrastructure because, you know, this is soft power, which is, you know, entertainment, creativity, art, literature, publishing, you know, the softer side, this persuasion, right? We still need the infrastructure, the hard power. You need the rails, because without that, you can't build to a different scale. We need to scale the opportunity. If you think about Nigeria and think about the opportunity Nigeria has, this sector is one of the biggest sectors in terms of opportunity, because there are something like 49 different sectors at play when you look at the converged picture. So that is perhaps one of the things, and it's a sector that can occupy and employ Nigerians at scale, because the average Nigerian, you know, the average age in Nigeria is 18. We're a young country with a lot of capacity, a lot of talent, but we do need to invest into those people, into those processes. And I think the things we've been able to do is build programs, initiatives, and now we're moving into implementation on platforms which can actually enable this ecosystem to grow. Because that's what you're trying to do at the end of the day. It's economic growth and expansion. But, you know, in this industry, it's not like in the oil and gas sector or the energy sector. This is really a sector where it's about the IP, the intellectual property of the average citizen, of the Nigerian. And I think that when the minister gets here, she'll be able to tell you about some of the things that are happening around IP, around value creation, around funding, because these are sort of things that I know that people want to hear about. From us internally in the sector, we're trying to mobilize resources to really move firmly into implementation.